It was a Tuesday afternoon in the Mar-a-Lago ballroom, thick with anticipation. Donald Trump, no longer president but still the showman, stood at a podium fielding questions from the press. Trump leaned in, smirked, and launched into a story about his time in office. Then, he dropped the line. "Canada? Oh, I love Canada. It's practically our 51st state anyway, isn't it?" The room froze. A few nervous laughs, some applause. The comment ricocheted across the internet. Headlines blared, "Trump calls Canada the 51st state." Memes exploded, moose in MAGA hats. But beneath the humor, a quiet anger simmered. The joke became a national insult. Canada was about to look in the mirror, and the world was watching. Outrage in Canada doesn't look like shouting in the streets. It's a collective, polite but firm, "Excuse me?" The day after Trump's comment, talk shows and radio lines buzzed with calm but pointed voices. "We are not a state. We are a country." The message was clear. Canada's identity is not up for debate. The incident sparked a wave of national introspection. What does it mean to be Canadian in 2025? For years, Canadians defined themselves by what they weren't. Not American, more polite, universal healthcare. But was that enough? Trump's remark forced a deeper conversation. Who are we, really? Coffee shops, boardrooms, and dinner tables buzzed with the same question. The joke exposed a vulnerability. If America sees us as an extension, what does that mean for our independence? Politicians responded with statements reaffirming sovereignty. But behind the scenes, a new strategy was brewing. This was more than a moment for patriotic speeches. It was an opportunity. Trump's gaffe gave Canada the world's attention and the moral high ground. Prime Minister Mark Carney and his government saw a chance to redefine the relationship. The polite uproar became a catalyst for change. Canada was ready to move from being defined by its neighbor to defining itself. The question was no longer how to respond, but how to seize the moment. The country was united, not in anger, but in resolve. The world was watching, and Canada was ready to show who it really was. The polite uproar had become a national awakening. The next move would set the tone for a new era. Canada was ready to speak up. Canada's foreign policy had always been quiet diplomacy, reliable but rarely leading. Trump's comment changed that. Suddenly, the world was watching Ottawa. Prime Minister Carney's government began charting its own course on trade, climate, and global issues. Canada's message: we are a sovereign nation with our own vision. Assertiveness replaced automatic alignment with the U.S. The 51st state joke stung, but it also galvanized national pride. Canada leaned into its values: diversity, social safety nets, rule of law. The country branded itself as a stable, reliable partner in a chaotic world. New alliances were forged and old dependencies questioned. The maple leaf was no longer in the background. It was finding its own voice. Prime Minister Carney wasn't known for fiery speeches. When the 51st state comment exploded, he waited, letting the public conversation build. 2 days later, he addressed the nation, not with anger, but with calm resolve. He spoke of Canada's unique identity, 2 official languages, global diversity, peace, order, and good government. This became the Carney Doctrine quiet strength. No shouting matches, no direct attacks, just dignity and steadfast resolve. Carney's strategy was to highlight Canada's stability and competence. While others created chaos, Canada got things done. The world took notice. Canada became a symbol of predictability. Carney built alliances with like-minded democracies, championing collective action. He reinforced international institutions and promoted cooperation. The message? We are stronger together. Canada's quiet power became its greatest asset. The Carney Doctrine wasn't just a response, it was a blueprint for leadership. In a world of noise, Canada's calm became its superpower. The country's reputation for stability attracted investment and trust. Quiet strength was now Canada's calling card. Trump and Carney, two leaders, two worlds. Trump embodied populist nationalism, thriving on chaos and spectacle. Carney stood for pragmatic internationalism, valuing cooperation and expertise. Trump's style was transactional, disruptive, and unpredictable. Carney's was institutional, principled, and reliable. Trump saw strength in being the loudest, Carney in being the most credible. Their leadership styles were opposites. One sought to disrupt, the other to stabilize. The future of the Western world seemed to hinge on which vision would prevail. Trump's comment came amid real economic tensions. Trade wars had exposed Canada's vulnerability. Over 70% of exports went south. The joke was salt in a wound. Carney's government accelerated trade diversification. New deals with Europe and Asia, investments in AI, clean tech, and critical minerals. Canada aimed to be a hub of innovation, not just resources. U.S. dependence began to shrink. Exports to new markets soared. Foreign investment followed Canada's stability. The pain of trade wars forced a necessary transformation. Canada was learning to stand on its own economic feet. The 51st state comment wasn't really about Trump. It was about Canada. A careless remark became the catalyst for a national awakening. Canada stopped being just the good neighbor and started leading. The Carney Doctrine evolved into a long-term vision Canada as a strategic global player. The country leveraged its strengths, resources, talent, stability to carve a new niche. Its boringness became its superpower. Canada became a destination for talent, a hub for investment, a credible global voice. The insult became an awakening. Canada stopped defining itself by what it wasn't and started asserting what it is: a resilient, independent, strategically important nation. No longer just a neighbor, but a navigator. The future isn't about being the loudest, but the most reliable. Canada is charting its own course, and the world is taking notice.